As students, for this video we're going to look at the following layout to create an application that basically uses this layout as the main activity, and we're going to call this app just basically Buddy. So if we quickly have a look at this layout, you can see that this layout has got a vertical layout that is, or linear layout that's vertical for the main screen. And then if we need to go and add these components for that first part, we will need to add a linear layout that is horizontal, then add the picture horizontally, and then this little part there will be again a vertical linear layout inside of this horizontal linear layout. And then when we get to the next part, we will just draw a line to the screen, and then we're going to have another linear layout that is horizontal, where we're going to add 3 image views, which we're going to make clickable. And then we draw a line again, and we need to include the list view. Okay, so we're going to come back to this layout again, just to make sure that we are on the correct or on the right track. So the first thing that we need to do before you can actually go and work on this application is to get all the pictures that we're going to need. So if you don't have the pictures, you can go to this site, http, bit.ly, and the rest of it, which will take you to this page, and you'll see a download button. I won't see a download button because it's on me that's sharing it, so you will see a download button. You can download this call.zip, and call.zip will help you to get into this folder call, which will have all of these pictures. So the first picture that I want to use now is that contact preview. So we're going to copy that contact preview, and we're going to paste it into our project folder. So in our project folder, there's a resources folder. In the drawable, that's where we're going to paste it. So we paste it there, and you can see that we've got access now to contact preview. Okay, so now the first thing that we want to do is to make sure that our layout is in fact a linear layout and that the orientation is vertical. So please make sure that your layout for the new app, Buddy app, is a linear layout and the orientation is vertical. Okay, so it's just a blank activity, nothing on it, and now we can start working on it. Remember what we said, the first one there should be a linear layout that is horizontal. So let's add a linear layout that is horizontal. So you'll see on the pane on the left hand side, you can choose a linear layout that is horizontal. So we're going to choose that linear layout, and I'm going to drag it to the right hand side of the screen, and I'm going to place it inside of my linear layout there. Let me just make sure about this linear layout now. I removed the Android property there, so I'm just going to make sure that one is there, Android orientation, and we're going to set it to vertical. Okay, that's better. So in brackets it says vertical, and for that one it says horizontal. Okay, so now in the horizontal layout, you can see that it basically spans the whole screen. So if we go back to it, let's change some properties there. The orientation must be horizontal. The layout width should match the parent. We want to use the whole width, but the height should not be matched the parent, but we're going to wrap the content. Okay, so if we go back to design, you can see it's a lot smaller now. And now what we want to do is to go and drag in that image view, the first one there. So if we look at our picture again, we need to add the first image view, and then we're going to add another linear layout. So the first one, let's add the picture quickly. So I'm going to add an image view, and I'm going to drag it, and I'm going to put it inside of that linear layout. So you can see it's indented, it's inside of that linear layout. Now click on the image view. We're going to go down there until you get to the source property. You can click on the 3 dots there, which will take you to this resources window. You're going to click on project, close down color, and we want to go to drawable. So go to the drawable folder there, and we need to get contact preview. So you can see there's the picture at the bottom, and you can just click on OK. So the first part is fine. We've got the picture there on the left hand side like we did there. So looks the same. Now on the right hand side, we need to have another linear layout, but this one needs to be vertical, and we're going to put this linear layout inside of this horizontal layout. We're going to put this vertical layout. Okay, so the next thing will be to add a new layout. So we're going to put a vertical layout there, and you can see that I want it just after the image view. If you're not able to do that, you can just drop it into that linear layout that's horizontal, and it will also put it in the correct place. Okay, so now we've got a linear layout that's vertical again, and inside of this vertical layout, we now want to place those three components. So the three components will be three text views. So we're going to drag in a large text. Where did it put that now? Let's just try that again. Put in a large text in that linear layout that's vertical. We're going to put a medium text after that one, and another medium text in the same linear layout. And now on the right hand side in this pane, you can see nicely that it's inside of that vertical layout. It's indented a bit, and we've got those three text views. Now for that text view, we can go down to its property that says text style. There's the text style property, and we can go and set it to bold. Okay, so now if you click on this linear layout, you can see that the text inside of the linear layout is not nicely centered. So for that, we need to go to the gravity property. Did I miss it now? There's the gravity property, and we're going to set it to center vertical as well as center horizontal. So now it looks nice, basically the same as that picture. Let me just go back. Not to this one, just to open up that layout again. There we've got the picture. So you'll see on this picture also, we've got the picture and then that layout there. So I think it's fine as it is, like we've got it now. Okay, so the next part, if we go back to that picture again, is to basically go and draw a line over the screen. So how do we draw a line? So we're going to go back to text. Now the line we want to have just after this linear layout. So we've got one linear layout, which is basically the screen, the big linear layout. Then we've got the second linear layout that looks like this with all of these other components inside of it. So I'm just going to close it down. And then after this, we want to draw a line now. So basically, it's the second closing. It's just before the second, or just after the second closing one. So we'll put our cursor there, and this is basically where we want to go and draw the line. So to draw a line, we're just going to basically create a new view. So for this view, we're going to set some properties. So to close it down, just a /, and it closes it down nicely for you. So in order to do this view, the width we want to have match the parent again. But the height, we're going to make 1 dp. Well, that's basically going to be the thickness of the line, so let's make it 2 dp. And then we're going to add one more property there, which will be the background property. And that background property I'm going to set to okay, so just put the hash there, and then we can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 zeros there, and it will create the black line for us. Okay, so now we've got a view there. So if you go back to design, you can see there's a nice black line there. So it's just a simple view that you set the width to how wide you want that line to be, and then set the height to the thickness that you want to create. So if we set it to 10 there, you will see that that line is a lot thicker. So I'm just going to leave it at 2 dp there. And then we've got a nice line there. Okay, so now the second one, or the next one that we want to go through quickly. Let me just get to that picture again. Okay, so the next thing that we want to have after the line will be a linear layout again. That is, in this case, again, horizontal. So we're going to add a horizontal linear layout there. So on the left hand side, horizontal linear layout, and we're going to add it inside of the big linear layout that's vertical. So you'll see just after the line, it adds that linear layout. So again, for that linear layout, we wanted to wrap the content on the height. So make sure it's wrap content there. So we don't span the whole screen in the height, but we use the whole width. So now for this part, we need to have those pictures. Just get to the pictures. We want to have those three pictures. So we're going to use call, and we're going to use edit, and we're going to use message. So for those three, we're going to use a lot smaller pictures. So we're going to do the following. You're going to go to the resource folder. You're going to right click there, and we're going to say new image asset. Now this brings you to this screen basically, the image asset screen, and you're going to go to the three dots there, and mine is on the Dropbox. There's the call, and I'm going to choose call first. So I'm going to choose it, choose that picture. It gives you a preview of all the pictures, and we're going to call that picture call. And then if you're done, just right at the bottom you can say next and then finish, and then the picture has been added in the map folder to call. So we're going to do the exact same thing for the other two. So we're going to go to new image asset, three dots, and then we're going to go again to that call folder, and we're going to use edit, the next one. Also give it the name edit there, and then you can go and click on next and finish, and we've got call and edit now. So now again in the resources folder, the last time, new image asset, go to the three dots and go to the message picture. And we're also going to call it message. There we go. I'm going to say next at the bottom and then finish. Okay, so that we've got call, we've got edit, and we've got message there. Right, so let's just get back to the picture there, or to the layout, and let's see how we can do those three pictures now. So we've got a linear layout that is horizontal, so we need to go and add those three image views. So I'm going to click one image view, add it to the linear layout. Do the same again, another image view, add it to the linear layout, and another image view, add it to the linear layout. And you'll see instead of dragging it, you can basically just click on it there and just move your mouse and add it there, which is quite nice. Okay, so now setting the images on those three, you can see the first image that we want to have is the call icon there. So let's do the call one quickly. So click on the image view, go down to your source property. Come on. Go down to the source property, and in the resources window, we're going to go down to not to drawable or ID, but to the map, and we're going to use the call icon there. So you'll see call at the bottom, and we can just say OK. Alright, so that picture is nicely added. So you can see that's the first one. The second one will be the message. So click on the second image view, and we're going to search for the source property again. Click on project, and we're going to search for message there. Click on OK, and now message has been nicely added. And then the last one will be that edit picture. So we're going to click on the third and last image view, go down to its source property, and we're going to set it on the project to edit. Say OK, and there we've got the picture. Okay, so now that looks good. The pictures looks good in this case, but it's not centered like we've got it in this picture. So we want to have it centered. So again, you're going to click on the linear layout, not on one of those components, and we're going to go down to the gravity property, and you can center it horizontal. So now it's nicely centered horizontally. We can also click on that linear layout, and let's go to the margin property, layout margin. Let's set a top margin of 5 dp and then a bottom margin also of 5 dp, which will just move us down a bit there. You can see there's a bit of space there at the top now. Okay, so that looks good at this stage. You can see it looks the same as that one, and now we need to draw another line. So how do we draw a line again? I'm just going to copy that view. There we've got the view. So you can just copy it. And then I'm going to go down and I'm going to paste it after or just before the last linear layout. And you can see on the screen the line is nicely added. Okay, and then the last thing that we need to add to the screen is the list view. So this is also very easy to do. You just go and search for your list view, which will be there we go, under containers, and we're going to place it in the outermost vertical linear layout, and you'll see that's been added nicely. Okay, so basically there is our layout, and if you compare it to this layout, I think it looks nice. Nothing weird, everything looks in place. Just the names and stuff there that we did not do at this stage. Okay, so the layout is fine. Now if we go a bit further, let's say we want to make these buttons now clickable. Or not the buttons, the image views. So if we want to make these image views clickable, you're going to click on one of those image views, and when you go down, you'll see there's a clickable property. So make sure you click on clickable for this one, for all of those 3 image views. Click on clickable. Okay, so let's quickly go through the 3 different ways that we can use buttons. So because this is clickable now, these image views act as buttons now. So one thing that we can do is to go into the main activity and create a method. So I'm going to say public void. Now this, let's go to the first icon there. That will be the call. So I'm just going to say btn call. It acts now as a button, so I'm going to call it a button. So it's btn call on click. View v in brackets. And Alt Enter will add the import for you. Okay, so that's the method, and now we can connect this method to that button, which is an image view. So if you go to the image view and you go down a bit, you'll see there's an on-click property. So in that on-click property, you'll see that your method is listed there. So I'm going to select btn call on-click, which means that this image view, which is clickable, acting as a button, is now connected to this method. So whenever I click this now, it's going to go to this method and execute whatever we want to do here. So I'm just going to display a toast there. And this toast will just basically say call clicked. Okay, so that's the one way of doing it. Then the second way of doing it is to set an on-click listener. So let's do the second one, and you can see that for this one to work, we really do not need to have an ID for this image view. But for the other 2 ways of doing it, we need IDs for the image views. So let's set an ID for this one quickly. So you can just double click, and I'm going to say IV message. And for this one, we're going to set it to IV edit. Okay, so you can see those 2 has got IDs now. So let's just set them up in coding quickly. They are image views. So we're going to say image view, IV edit is the one, and IV message is the other one. Okay, so just after your set content view, we can go and set them up. IV edit equals an image view, converting it back to an image view. And then we're going to use the find view by ID to actually go to that specific image view. So it's r.id.image image view, in this case it's image view edit, and then set up the second one, IV message equals also image view, find the view by its ID, and then r.id.image view message. Okay, so we've set up those two components. Now, in order to do the second way that you can handle click events with buttons is to, let's just go and have a look for the second one. So that's message. Okay, so we're going to do message. So it's IV message. Just going to say IV message dot set on click listener and choose it from the list. And then you're going to say new on click listener, and you can see that it says Android.view in brackets. And if you select it, it opens up that on-click listener for you with the on-click method already there. So now we can just show a toast again. That says, what is this one called? That is message. So we're just going to say message clicked. Okay, so that's the second way of doing it. So the first way, creating a button and then connecting the button to the on-click property of that image view. And then the second one is getting an ID, connecting to that specific image view, and then setting the on-click listener. So the last way that you can do is to go to the top there and add an implement there. So we're going to add, or basically implement, an interface, and this interface will be an on-click listener of type view. Okay, so that's the on-click listener. If you hover over it, it says that class main activity must either be declared abstract or implement the abstract method on. Okay, so on-click. So you can just Alt-Enter there, and you can say implement methods, and then the on-click method will pop up. You can just say okay. So there's the on-click method then, which means that this class of ours is now an on-click listener. So if we connect something to this class, it will go into this on-click method. So now the easy way to do this is just to go to our last component there, that is IV edit. We're going to say set on-click listener like we did the previous one, but then we're going to pass in this, which means that this class of ours, the main activity, so you can either have this or main activity.this, it's the same thing, just referring to this class of ours that is an on-click listener. So we're going to say set the on-click listener to this class, which means that if this button gets clicked, it will directly go to this on-click method. So now this V object there, we can use this V object now to identify which one of our components actually activated this. So we can go and say if that v.getID, which will get the ID of the component that activated this method, and then we can test it to a specific ID. So maybe it's now, it was the IV edit that clicked it. So in this case, it will be IV edit because we set, that's the only one we set up to this main activity. And then we can just display a toast. So we can say toast, and we're going to say edit clicked. Okay, and that's basically it for this buddy app for now. So we've got the layout nicely laid out. Everything is fine with the layout. And then we've gone and connected these three buttons on three different ways on doing click events. So let's run it quickly and see what we've got so far. So I'm going to run it on my emulator. Okay, Google app is not responding. Okay, so there's our layout. You'll see that we won't see the list view now because we did not set any items to the list view. But if I click on that one, it says call clicked. If I click on the message, it says message clicked. And if I click on the edit, it says edit clicked. So everything working nicely. And this is basically part one for the Buddy app. So I hope you've enjoyed creating this layout.